I'm addicted to saving money, and honestly, that's the biggest reason how I went from 20K as a freshman in college to 100K by 24, and I'm gonna share the 3 things that I do constantly.
My name's Lindsay, I'm 24 years old, and I am addicted to saving my money. And you can be too. In order to become addicted to saving, you need to know.
I honestly feel like I've become addicted to saving money, and this is coming from someone who loves to shop, who loves clothes shopping, going to Target, buying random stuff, going to Aldi, and those aisles that have all the random stuff and buying things from there.
My name is Grace. I'm 21 years old and I am addicted to saving. That dopamine hit I would get from a new item, I now get that same dopamine, that same rush when I hit my savings goals or I see that I outdid myself this month as opposed to the month prior. Now, a few cautions. Yes, it can absolutely get out of hand. You may laugh at this, but I promise it's true.
Saving money is so addictive once you really get started. I had this one conversation with one of my friends. Me and him always talk about financing and stuff, bro. And he told me, bro, if I lost my job right now, I could probably live 6 to 8 months off of just my savings. And this is mind blowing to me, man, because I'm like, bro, if I lost my job right now, bro, I'd probably be homeless.
Can we somehow make saving money cool? I promise you, saving money feels so good. I was fully addicted to saving money about 5 years ago because I came out of my master's program so broke. I was $40,000 in debt. The most I had ever made in a year was maybe $20,000. I immediately applied for a job up in northern Canada, working in a remote camp, and I worked the full 12-hour shifts, 14 days straight, 7 days off, flew home. And ultimately, what that crazy shift taught me is that there's so many things I don't need to spend my money on.
Saving money is so addictive once you really get started. And I'm not talking about, I'm gonna go make groceries, I'm not gonna go out to eat. That's addictive too, but I'm talking about like, I make $1,000 a day. I'm gonna go put that same $1,000, I'm gonna go put it up somewhere and I'm not gonna touch it no more. That's addictive once you really, get in the hang of doing it. And this is why it matters who you put yourself around, because I never thought like that until I had this one conversation with one of my friends. Me and him always talk about financing and stuff, bro. We was having this conversation and he told me, bro, if I lost my job right now, I could probably live 6 to 8 months off of just my savings. And this is mind blowing to me, man, because I'm like, bro, if I lost my job right now, bro, I'd probably be homeless. And that's crazy because I was making more money than he was. And he told me he could live 6 months just off his savings. And don't get me wrong, man, sometimes I get in that mindset where, bro, I just be spending unnecessary money and I need to get away from that, bro. Sometimes I take me and my girl out, bro. We go spend $250 on a dinner, leave there, go spend $500 on some J's, bro. Just stupid stuff. But lately, bro, I was talking to my girl last night, man. I've been in that mindset where I just want to see how high I can stack my bread, man. Like right now, bro, I don't even want to go buy sausage and biscuits from McDonald's just because I want to see how high I can stack my bread, bro. Right now, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm in the house. I ain't leaving the house, bro, unless I'm going to sell the couch, bro. That's just the kind of mindset I'm in right now. Once you really get locked in with that and you start seeing that money stack up, bro, especially if you saving cash. Once you start seeing that cash stacked up, bro, it's really like a drug, bro. It get addictive, man.
So he dropped so many jewels in this. I don't want to miss them, but I might miss some of them. If I do, let me know. But he dropped so many jewels. Before I go any further, though, I do want to acknowledge that I do believe him when he says he goes after a $250 dinner with his girl to spend $500 on some J's or some shoes. Because if you look right behind his head, there's a couple of shoes stacked up, quite high. With that being said, this is the old him, I'm assuming. This is the old him. Let's give him a break. Number one, who you're around makes such a difference. I've been blessed throughout my life to be around people who we have the same mindset when it comes to finances, and it's made me a better person. I made them a better person. And especially for somebody who's not already a natural addict like me, I'm a natural savings addict. I've been this way for a very long time, since probably right after high school. And even maybe in high school before, I was a natural savings addict. It just gives me so much joy to see money go into a bank account and grow. And for a long time, I didn't know about investing. I wasn't really aware of it. And I have a low risk tolerance, so I would keep a lot of my money in savings. Unfortunately, I still have a lot of my money in savings. Although I plan on using that money to buy a house. That's why it's there, not in the market. I like to tell myself. Who you're around is such a big thing. So he said his friend is the one who changed his mindset. And then he dropped another jewel by saying his friend makes less than he does, but has enough to last 6 to 8 months if he lost his job, whereas he would effectively be homeless. What does that mean? It means it's about how much you keep, not about how much you make. Now, don't get me wrong. You can't really save yourself to $1 million. However, you can definitely spend yourself into a whole bunch of debt. Now he sees that, dang, I make more than my friend, yet I'd be homeless. I know he's being hyperbolic. Yet, I'd be struggling. I don't have enough money in my bank account to survive an emergency, whereas my friend, he'd be fine. Another thing he said is he's gonna start talking to his girlfriend about his new mindset. That's another thing. Who you're with, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your fiance, I mean, that's gonna have a big impact on how much money you can save. And one last thing I'll add is that he mentioned he loves seeing the money grow in his bank account. I think once he gets a certain level, that emergency fund established, he should start talking to his friend about investing, or if his friend doesn't invest, start looking for information on how to invest his money as opposed to just save it, because that's when you see the real growth, and that's when you really start to get addicted, for sure.
My name is Grace, I'm 21 years old, and I am addicted to saving. I saved my first $50,000 at 19, I put that right into an investment property, a triplex, and now I'm up to $100,000 in savings again, looking for my next property. People, including my friends and my family, are always like, how did you do it? Or how do you do this? And it's a lot less impressive than it seems, because I can admit it's just an addiction. The same way I was addicted to saving, like that dopamine hit I would get from a new item, I now get that same dopamine, that same rush when I hit my savings goals, or I see that I outdid myself this month as opposed to the month prior. Like I'm always playing a game with myself, and it's addicting. And now I don't really get that from small purchases. Now, a few cautions. Yes, it can absolutely get out of hand. You may laugh at this, but I promise it's true. You need to have a long-term goal. It can't just be about the money. I love the stability that money gives me. I love the freedom that it gives me. I love how I'm not constantly stressed about paying my bills, but I don't love the money. And when I catch myself going way too far, like for example, this month it's my birthday and I was like, ooh, I should probably just stay in and save money. I'm going to force myself to go take a trip for my birthday because life still needs to be lived. Like you can't just hoard all your money. That's when it starts to get unhealthy. There has to be a balance. One of the best tips I can give you is to do savings in like sprints. Like I do sprint months where I save a lot of money in that month, and then the next month I won't save as much, and that's okay. This just comes with what I have planned that month. Like if I know I have a couple friends getting married, that's probably not going to be a sprint month because I know I'm going to have to spend on a dress or a gift, But try to build that into your plans, and if you have a down month, that should be your saving sprint month, where you save as much money as possible. Really lock in, and this is gonna open up room to spend in designated months instead of just continuing to spend recklessly.
She saved the first $50,000 by 19, I think she said, and bought her first triplex. And now she's at 100K looking for another property. Man, round of applause for her. She is she is a full-fledged savings addict. I almost feel like she has me beat, and I don't like that. She dropped some gems too, so I'll try to touch on them. She said, gamification. I found that gamification works wonders for me. You know how we all have to find ways to motivate ourselves to do something we don't really want to do? In this case, I want to save, but I think it's a good lesson anyways, especially for someone who saving doesn't come natural to you. You're not part of the addicts club. Gamification, making it a challenge to yourself and giving yourself small rewards when you hit certain milestones, like you're playing a video game. It can make savings a lot more fun and a lot less drudgery. So whatever you like, as long as it's not gonna blow your savings, set that as, okay, after I hit a certain amount of money in my savings account, I will allow myself to splurge on this thing, right? If that's how you wanna do it. There's different ways to set it up. She said something too about long-term goals. I'm sure her long-term goals consist of buying more investment properties. For me, same thing. I have long-term goals. I had long-term goals. And sometimes it's just a certain number. I wanna hit $100,000 in cash, just so I can look at that comma, or however many commas it is. I think it's one comma. I'm not there yet, not two, in the account. It's just, for me, that feels good. For you, you might be like, what? You're weird. And I am a bit weird, I'll admit that. Or for me and for her, I had a long-term goal of buying an investment property, which I did. I bought my first one with a group of friends anyways when I was, I don't know, maybe 22 or something like that. So older than she was. Point is, that was a long-term goal. So that way it made savings easier, because those days where you're like, this is kind of sucky. you're like, oh, well, wait a minute, let me do it anyways because I know I have this long-term goal in mind to keep me focused.
I honestly feel like I've become addicted to saving money. My name is Mary. I'm a teacher, but I'm also someone who's just trying to be more financially responsible. I feel like I've gotten to this point in my financial journey where saving money brings me so much more joy than spending it on random stuff. And this is coming from someone who loves to shop, who loves clothes shopping, going to Target, buying random stuff, going to Aldi and those aisles that have all the random stuff and buying things from there. I just feel so much better having money going into my emergency fund, going into my house fund, having all these financial goals that I'm able to save up for instead of spending my money on random stuff like clothes, especially the ones that are just in style for now and probably won't be trendy in a couple more months. But when you make saving money a habit, it honestly feels so easy. Like I have so many regrets of not saving money earlier in my life. And if you're someone who was like me and didn't take saving seriously or has spent a lot on unnecessary things, it honestly gets so much easier over time. I think what started it for me was automating my savings and realizing when I started small with like $20 a month and then realizing, okay, $20 is not that bad. Let me just increase that number and still having enough money in my account to still enjoy my life. It feels good knowing that I can wake up tomorrow, have some sort of financial emergency, and have some sort of cushion of savings to help me pay for that emergency. And that gives me so much more peace than me going shopping right now and buying a bunch of random stuff at the mall. It's time to take control of our spending habits because I'm telling you, it is so much better.
So there's a book that I read not too long ago called Your Money or Your Life. And in Your Money or Your Life, they talk about how savings is not just good for all the reasons we're talking about in this video. It's also good for the environment. Because like she said, back when she was a spender, when she buys all this fast fashion, it's bad for the earth. You wear it 1, 2, 3 times. It goes out of style. It rips, it tears. You don't want it anymore. You throw it into the trash. You throw it away, but technically there's no such thing as away. It goes to a landfill and builds up. And most of the stuff does not degrade. So we're killing our earth for cheap dopamine hits. So it's great that she's now transitioned from getting her not cheap dopamine hits from saving and adding money to her sinking funds and savings accounts and emergency fund and investing. I think she might have mentioned, if not, she needs to get to that, as opposed to getting those cheap, quick, fleeting dopamine hits from spending that same money you would be saving on stuff that you really don't need. It's not just about saving money for the sake of saving money or even saving money for a long-term goal or a short-term goal. It's also about saving money to spend less on things that eventually just pollute the environment. Not to get all activist on you or anything, but see, there's a lot of benefits to becoming a savings addict. I'll tell you that. So if you're not a savings addict already, I implore you to start small like she did, $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever it takes to start building that momentum so you can join the team.
My name's Lindsay, I'm 24 years old, and I am addicted to saving my money. And you can be too. Let me tell you, I didn't always have this mindset. I used to be more of a spender up until I met my husband, and he's the one who got me really into money and finances. In order to become addicted to saving, you need to know how much money you're making and how much money you're spending. That is how I make it into a game. Because I know how much I'm spending, every month is a game to see if I can get that number lower and like beat my high score in a way. My husband and I have been married for almost 4.5 years, and we started a couple years ago into our marriage going over our finances every month in an Excel spreadsheet that he made. It has been game changing. Not only are we more unified on our financial goals, immediately we were able to make better financial decisions because we were actually aware of our income and our expenses. This sounds like an easy, simple thing to do, and it is, but the average American has no idea how much they're making and no idea how much they're spending every month, let alone how much of their money is going to each categories like food, gas, grocery, etc. I'm happy to share the Excel spreadsheet me and my husband use, but that is definitely step one in order to become addicted to saving your money and making it like a game. Look for free local things to do in your area if you're trying to cut back on going out. Cook more at home to spend less on takeout. Check out a free local art show. Go to the library, it's free. Go on a hike because it's free. Like, it just gets the creative juices flowing.
Man, this video is like music to my soul. Not just this one, just all the ones we've seen so far. So she talked about some of the stuff we've already touched upon, like gamification. That is big, like I mentioned before. I'm trying to tell you guys, if you can find a way to gamify savings, it'll make it so much more fun. Not just easy, but fun. There's something, she also touched about something we already talked about, which is who you marry or who you choose to hang around. Because who you choose to hang around, we've all heard this before. We are the sum total of the 5 closest friends we have, or the 5 closest people we spend the most time with, which in this case, one of those people is her husband, who got her in the right mindset to start saving and join the Savings Addicts Club. Now, she said something that the other people did not touch on, which is the budget. And so budgeting is big because I'll be honest with you, she's so right. Personally, I have friends. I don't want to call them out in this video if they see it, But I have friends who have subscriptions that they forget they even have. More than one friend, to be honest. And when I hear stuff like that, it grinds my gears because I literally don't go a week without checking my bank accounts to make sure that if I go out and I have food at a restaurant and I tip, which I tip well, that they don't charge me the wrong tip or that they don't charge me for the wrong item if it's not a place I shop at frequently. And I always check to make sure that I'm not having unnecessary recurring expenses from subscriptions. And you better best believe I know every single subscription that I do have. But you'd be so surprised the number of people who have no idea they have Amazon Prime coming out every month. Have no idea they have Disney Plus coming out every month. Have no idea all these different expenses they have coming out. And the thing is, when you show a lot of these people the amount of money that they're spending on certain items that they were just kind of blindly spending before, their mind is blown. And they have that epiphany moment. Not everybody, but a lot of people. And then they start to go down this new route of becoming more of a saver or at least less of a spender. They may not become an addict like me or like her, but they start to change their mindset because now they see where every dollar is going. They're not just mindlessly spending.
I'm addicted to saving money, and honestly, that's the biggest reason how I went from 20K as a freshman in college to 100K by 24, and I'm gonna share the 3 things that I do constantly. Okay, so the first thing I did was automate everything. This means the second I would get paid, a portion of it would already go into my investments or savings account. And this is super important because what's not there, I will not be spending. And if you don't prioritize saving your money, it's just going to get lost and you're going to spend it. This is how I would literally trick my brain into building wealth instead of spending it. The second thing I did was genuinely thinking I was broke. Even though I had 80K in the bank, I would literally be like, oh my gosh, I cannot go out to eat tonight because I have to save. So even with promotions, raises, or new jobs, I would literally not increase my spending. I would only be saving more. And honestly, even post-grad, I still lived like a broke college student. The gap really grew between what I made and what I would spend. The third thing, which this was intimidating, especially as a girl, but invest consistently. Honestly, first getting started was $50, $100 a month, if that, but this has really changed my net worth, and investing consistently is so underrated. So yeah, I am addicted to saving money, but this is the biggest reason why I have a 6-figure net worth at only 24 years old.
Okay, so let's talk about what she said there about tricking herself. A lot of people, I think more people than people like me, have to find ways to trick themselves into saving. So what she said there about automating everything, it might sound easy. It might sound like average advice, and it kind of is, no shot at her or shade at her, but she's spot on. Because what you're doing is you are creating friction, right? Is that the right way to put it? You're creating friction, or you're creating a barrier to yourself spending. It's almost like if you're trying to lose weight and they tell you, don't keep cookies, sweets, things that you don't want to eat in your house. Because if it's easy and it's within like easy reach of you, you're more likely to eat it. It's the same idea here. Instead of having the money hit your account that you can then use to go spend on frivolous things or non-frivolous things that you don't really need, instead have it automatically go somewhere like an investment account or even a savings account that you don't look at often. That way you're tricking your brain into going, okay, I don't have $4,000. I have $3,800 or $3,500. And let the money that you put away work for you without seeing it.
Can we somehow make saving money cool? I promise you, saving money feels so good. I was fully addicted to saving money about 5 years ago because I came out of my master's program so broke. I was $40,000 in debt. The most I had ever made in a year was maybe $20,000, and I was 27 years old when I graduated. I immediately applied for a job up in northern Canada, working in a remote camp with like 5,000 men and like 20 women. And I worked the full 12-hour shifts, 14 days straight, 7 days off, flew home. And ultimately, what that crazy shift taught me is that there's so many things I don't need to spend my money on, especially up there. Like I didn't have the opportunity to do any shopping or anything like that because I was working so much. But once I started watching my savings account grow, and I could put money towards my debt, I was hooked. That is one of the best feelings. Even better than buying that like new purse that you've been always wanting to buy and you wanted to treat yourself. That kind of happiness from watching your account grow lasts so much longer. I know some of you are gonna say, I live paycheck to paycheck, I have no extra money to save. There's generally at least one category that people are overspending and that you can usually cut back. But if that's the case where you're living paycheck to paycheck, then Your income is the problem, and you need to go out and you need to try and make more income. I could have stayed in the city that I graduated in and got a job there where I was close to family, close to my husband and my animals, and I maybe would have made $60,000 a year, but I sacrificed my time and energy and my comfort to go and get ahead financially. If I had stayed and just got a job, we 100% would have been living paycheck to paycheck and constantly stressing about bills and stressing about not being able to do anything fun that we want to do. And if we did want to do something fun, we'd probably put it on debt. And the debt just keeps growing and growing and feels like this constant weight that's always on your shoulders. Becoming financially stable is probably one of the best things everybody can do for their mental health. And sometimes all it takes to get a little bit ahead is to sacrifice your time and energy and go work somewhere where you know you can work your ass off and make a lot of money, get your bills paid, get your debt paid, and then look for something else.
Man, she said way too much good stuff in there. It's too much good stuff in there. So let me just focus on the main thing I think that this video it has that's different than the other ones, which is that you have to get out of your comfort zone. For a lot of people, just like saving is tough, getting out of your comfort zone to earn more money is tough. As people, as human beings, we want to, listen, we're driven by, what is it? We're driven more by the avoidance of pain than seeking pleasure. A lot of people want to avoid pain. So they want to stay around their friends and their family and their fiance and their pets. They don't want to go out in some remote village or town in the middle of Alaska or wherever she said and work in cold, harsh conditions to earn additional income. She did that. So shout out to her. You don't have to be that extreme, of course, but what she did was she went and she made more money. And she did it temporarily, as you can see. I'm pretty sure she's done doing that now. She's paid off her debt. And another added benefit of that was she realized being in that remote location that half of the stuff or more that she was accustomed to spending her money on, she didn't even need and she didn't miss it. Wow. So she had two benefits in one. The proverbial killing two birds with one stone. I don't know why we're killing birds. But she not only increased her income to pay off her debt, she also realized she didn't need to spend as much because she didn't need half the crap she was buying. It's a win-win. With that being said, guys, as you can tell, I get excited about this. I'm a weirdo. I love saving. I love investing. I love talking about personal finance. And that's just who I am. Just like some people like to go skateboarding or swimming or whatever. This is my hobby. So with that being said, if you haven't already, try to implement, I would implore you, I would hope that you implement at least one of these strategies to move yourself towards becoming more of a savings addict, whether that be gamification, whether that be setting a long-term goal, whether that be budgeting and making sure you understand where every single one of your dollars is coming from and going to, whether that be going on a no spending challenge, whether that be putting yourself in an uncomfortable place, whether that be meeting new people to get around new perspectives, or in a completely new physical location, whatever it is. I hope that you take that journey or that next step to get yourself to become a saver and an investor, and it's better for you, better for the earth. And with that, I'll stop being preachy, and thank you for sticking around this long. Till next time, make smart financial decisions.